It's good to be here with all of you. Thank you all for your patience tonight. And look, let me begin at the beginning and thanking the love of my life, Jennifer Siebel Newsom. It is self-evident to anybody that knows us, I would not be here without her faith and love and devotion and her, sense of purpose and mission in this endeavor. So, Jen, thank you for everything. Thank you. Well, tonight the votes, as you all know, are still being counted, and the fight is far from won. This is only the first half of the election calendar, but thanks to you, the halftime score is looking very promising, and the home team is winning big. I'm humbled by the overwhelming engagement of Californians that have united around our message of optimism, our message of audacity. These days, too many politicians want to tell us what can't be done, but our can-do campaign painted in bold colors and big ideas. Guaranteed health care for all, a Marshall Plan for affordable housing, a master plan for aging with dignity, a middle-class workforce strategy, a cradle-to-college promise for the next generation, and more important perhaps than anything else, an all-hands approach to once and for all end child poverty in California. In politics today, everyone would agree with this, there's too much anger. Instead, we offered answers. We like to call it resistance with results. But one thing is clear, this is not a victory speech. As much as I want to express my appreciation to all of you individually, I keep hearing the voice of my late mom, Tessa. She was a single mom. She worked multiple jobs by raising 2 kids on her own, one with severe dyslexia, and if you can believe it, an acute fear of public speaking. But she never gave up on me, and more importantly, she never stopped instilling in me a sense of work ethic, social responsibility, and perhaps most impactful of all, an empathy for others. She was here. Trust me, she'd say this. She'd say, congratulations, now get off the stage and get back to work. And she would be right, because, there's a lot of work to be done through November and in the many, many years to come. Because the stakes, I know this is rote and cliched, but I believe it. The stakes have never been higher. The state of California, it's always been America's coming attraction. Millions of destinies connected by one dream, to be whoever you want to be. We're a state where we don't criminalize diversity, we celebrate diversity. A state where we don't obstruct justice, we demand justice for everybody. Where we don't regulate a woman's body more than we regulate assault weapons out on our streets. And where we invest in children, Jeff Sessions, invest in children where we don't tear them from the loving arms of their mothers and their fathers. We don't do that. Where we fuel the greatest economic engine the world has ever known. At the same time, we're protecting our environment and protecting our workers. That's California. But California's vision and America's values are one and the same. But our values, as you know, are under assault. We're engaged in an epic battle. And it looks like voters will have a real choice this November between a governor who's going to stand up to Donald Trump and a foot soldier in his war on California. Mark my words, I've never backed down from a fight, and neither have you. And we know California at its best will always be better than Washington's worst impulses. You know that great California poet by the name of Kendrick Lamar? I'm just checking you're paying attention. He once said, be humble. Be humble. Well, it's hard not to be humble when you're running to succeed Jerry Brown, one of the most accomplished governors in America. He's put California back on firm fiscal footing, and we're no longer a state of stasis. So it's our job It's our job to grab that baton and sprint boldly towards a brighter future. Starting with this, we can no longer tolerate, fundamentally no longer tolerate the unjust equilibrium of economic and wealth inequality. We are the most prosperous state in America, but we are also the poorest. The California dream will never be realized until every Californian is sharing in it. It's about equity, it's about sustainability, and it's about time. Time to open the doors to business while creating the job security of a changing workforce. Time to rebuild our infrastructure and make everyday life in California's communities more livable and more affordable. Time to reinvest in our public education system, once the envy of the world, and start treating teachers like the heroes that they are. But most of all, it's time to redefine our expectations of what we can achieve. No family should ever lack a roof over their heads. No child should ever be raised below the poverty line. No patient should ever be denied basic health care. And no Californian should ever have to choose between the three. Look, I owe many, many thanks tonight. Too many to count, too meaningful to express. From day one, this remarkable campaign has been the output of your input, the largest grassroots army ever assembled for a governor's race. Thousands of you gave your time, hundreds of thousands of you gave your dollars, and millions gave their voice and their vote. Californians of every color, every creed and community came together in common cause, in many ways reflecting the diversity and dynamism of California itself, proving once and again this timeless axiom that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. So it's in that spirit that I want to thank the most talented campaign team in America, my dream team, SCN and Nadisu, the whole crew. Unbelievable. But I also want to thank my opponents. I want to thank them for putting their names on the ballot because, you put your name out there, you put your voice out there, that's in and of itself an act of service. At the end of the day, we're all Californians, and when this is over, each one of us, I know, will put California's progress ahead of politics. So tonight, I want to conclude by marking a moment in time that reverberates, especially today, June 5th. Because it was 50 years ago to the day that Senator Robert Kennedy stood on a stage like this and claimed victory in the California primary for president. As all of you know, it was the last speech he would ever give. Decades later, we still mourn that loss, but tonight I prefer to be inspired by his legacy. He once said, "There are people in every time and every land who want to stop history in its tracks. They fear the future, mistrust the present, and invoke the security of a comfortable past which in fact never existed. In California," he said, "of all states, that change, although it involves risks, is the law of life." 50 years later, America's future is still being defined by California's present. It's our duty to future generations to keep dreaming, to keep disrupting, and to keep demanding more. See, for me, courage for a change is more than just a campaign slogan. It's always been and always will be California's truest calling. So thanks to you, tonight, we are one step closer to achieving it. Thank each and every one of you. God bless you, this great state of California. The best is yet to come. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you. And to you, my dear. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Newsom, his wife, claiming victory here in San Francisco. What a night. This is the perfect night if you are Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom. They had a playbook that they wanted to face John Cox, the Republican. They even spent money on ads promoting the thoughts of John Cox and promoting him to conservatives, taking his positions out there. They view the fact that President Donald Trump endorsed John Cox as a pivotal key moment in this race. They now have the ability to run against President Trump. That is the focus of the Newsom campaign going forward. They think that President Trump, who lost California by 4.2 million votes, is going to be an albatross across along the neck of John Cox, and that will now be their secret to success as they go forward with a clean Democrat versus Republican race. There was a lot of thought that it might be Democrat versus Democrat, but a really, really tough night for Antonio Villaraigosa, and a great night for Gavin Newsom. This is somebody who was the mayor of San Francisco, who actually ran for governor of California 8 years ago against Jerry Brown, couldn't win that race, had to drop out of it, ran for lieutenant governor, and has essentially been in waiting in this position of lieutenant governor, ready and willing and able to become the governor of the state of California. Been running for governor for several years now since he announced, and now he is going to get the opportunity to move forward. And many political experts believe that this race, this John Cox versus Gavin Newsom race, means that essentially Gavin Newsom is going to be able to cruise to become the governor of California going forward. Of course, we have elections to decide that sort of thing. You can't decide it in the polls, but if you're Gavin Newsom, this is about as good a night as you could potentially have, and there is a lot of celebrating happening here in San Francisco tonight. Reporting live from San Francisco, I'm Alex Michelson, Fox 11 News.